ॐ श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशोऽध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणी। The Bhagavad Gita is praised in this Dhyana Shloka number 1 as Advaita Amrita Varshini and also as Gita Amritam and Bhavat Dveshini. So which is that the Bhagavad Gita is the destroyer of Bhavasagaraha, and she showers the nectar of nectarine teachings of Advaita. And Shankaracharya says in his version of Mahatmyam that Mala nirmochanam pumsam jalasnanam dine dine sakrit geetam vasisnanam samsara mala nashakam or bhaya nashakam. So that is just as we take a bath every day to remove the malam of the sthula shariram, so to remove the malam of the mind in the form of kama krodha along with the root cause avidya, may one take a dip in the Gita Jnana Ganga. And also Gita Sugita Kartavya. So may one study the Gita well. And those Gita Gangotakam Pitva Punarjanma na Vidyate. So one will not fall into samsara when one has drunk the Gita Ganga. All this we have seen, Adi Shankaracharya has said this. Now the study of the Bhagavad Gita, Puja Swamiji would say, is a Pujita Vichara. Pujita Vichara means it is a sacred, auspicious, committed study. And why is it Pujita Vichara? Because just after a few days, we will find subtle changes in our life, in our mind. Yeah, in the thought processes, we will see that. And we may still have a lot of deep-rooted habits, resistance, doubts, and tendencies, very well-trenched, gathered over so many past lifetimes. But as long as we stay in touch with the Gita Shravanam, it will bring us back to the path of Dharma, Bhakti, and Jnanam again and again. So Krishna has said in the Gita, Spalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate bhavato mahato bhayat. That is, even if we follow a little bit of the teachings of the Gita, then it will protect us from the great fear of samsara. And how does it do that? We have seen these various acronyms like RIDE. When we stick to the RIDE principles, R for reduce adharma, and I for increase dharma, D for Ishwararpanam, dedicating all actions to Ishvara, and E is to experience as prasada. And then port reduction. Port is again all the anatma possessions, that we have, we want to reduce them slowly. then the FIR also will come down, the frequency, intensity, and the recovery time. So we see that Bhagavad Gita is like a, like a vaccine. It's an antivirus vaccine. And it destroys these bugs in the mind in the form of kama, krodha, lobha, mada, moha, matsaryam, raga, dvesha, all these because of avidya. And when we introspect, the main teachings of the Gita is what? What does it address? In one word, it is kama, desire management. Yeah, desire management, and the kama manifests as raga and dvesha. So we have seen in great detail, especially in the first Shatkam, how Krishna advises this, kama management and how to gain the mastery over raga dveshas. And once we do that, automatically there will be time management, emotion management, krodha management. All this follows. Only one culprit, that is kama. But again, Krishna says later, kamosmi bharatarshava, dharma viruddha. But I'm in the karma that is born of Rajoguna and Tamoguna. That is the culprit, but not the karma born of Sattvaguna. Very obvious. So, by all this change of attitude and this prasada buddhi, we find that Bhagavad Gita is like a antivirus vaccine. Then, what else does the Bhagavad Gita do for us in daily life? It is a stress buster. It is a shock absorber. We find that at some point we find that however hard I work for something, how much ever I pray, but the result is not guaranteed. So my prarabdha will unfold the karmic situations. Sukham and dukham is going to unfold. Then, when favorable situations happen due to punya karma phalam, I will be able to ask, why me? Do I ask that? No. So we ask in the reverse situation. So when there is a papa karma phalam as a challenging, unfavorable situation manifests, then we ask, why me? So we can now ask, why not me? Yeah, so this way, the student of Gita will welcome all the situations with samatvam and as Ishvara prasada. Because there is always something to be learned. And so we have seen a lot in great detail how, with this attitude, one can fulfill all the duties and responsibilities as an offering to Ishvara. And there is gracious acceptance. So there is samatvam in the mind as I become a nimittam, an instrument in the hands of the higher will. Then we see that for such a stable, mature mind, the Bhagavad Gita goes ahead. What will it do? It will light the lamp of knowledge in such a mind and drive away the darkness totally. And then the Bhagavad Gita is like a mirror, the mirror which is held by Sri Krishna, and the mirror will reveal the true nature as the one who is the ever happy, ever free from all limitations, and the fulfilled bhakta. So that is the ultimate vision. So we can appreciate how Bhagavad Gita is a Sarva Veda Sara Sangraha Grantha, essence of the entire Vedas. The Purva Bhaga of the Vedas show us the Vedic way of life, and that is the Karma Yoga. And the latter part, Jnana Kanda, shows us the vision of the whole. And that is the vision in the Gita also, as the Naishkarmyam, as the Jnani Bhaktaha. So this is the empowerment that the Gita does for every student, serious student of Gita, empowerment, so that all of them will be able to tell one day, like Arjuna, Nashtaha mohaha smritihi labdha tvat prasadat mayachita sthitosmi gata sandehaha karishye vachanam tava. So to live a stress-free, conflict-free, balanced life, Gita is a life manual. It is a must. So that was, a little bit about how this Bhagavad Gita is, practically it has so many, teachings that impact our daily life. Now today we will do what is called the Mahatmyam, Gita Mahatmyam, and this is a longer version of the Mahatmyam. About 23 verses are there. And it is taken from the Varaha Purana. And in the Varaha Purana, there is a dialogue between Mahavishnu and Bhudevi, goddess Earth. And goddess Earth is asking Mahavishnu that how can one be free from samsara? How can the jivas be free from samsara? How can they get the, unwavering bhakti? And Krishna's reply is, you have to be a serious student of Gita. Gitayaha abhyase rataha bhava. So all this is going to follow. So we will go to the Mahatmyam now. The first verse is Dharovacha Bhagavacha Bhagavan Parameshana Bhaktirapyabhicharini Prarabdham Bhujyamanasya Katham Bhavati He Prabho Parmeshana Bhaktirapyabhicharini Prarabdham Bhujyamanasya Katham Bhavati He Prabho. So, Dhara Uvacha. So, who is Dhara? Bhudevi or Mahalakshmi. So, Dhara comes, from Dharati. Dhara or Vasundhara means Vasu is wealth. So, the goddess Earth has infinite wealth in her. Fossil fuels are there, foliage is there, so many herbs are there, and minerals, that is why Vasundhara. So, what does Vasundhara say? Devi. She addresses Mahavishnu with three Sambodhanas. He Prabhu, He Parameshana, He Bhagavan. Three Sambodhanas. Bhakti Avyabhicharini. This unwavering, unflinching, Nishkama Bhakti, how can it be there for the one who is undergoing the highs and the lows of Prarabdha? So the one who is troubled by this, roller coaster like life, Prarabdham Bhujyamanasya, for that person, Katham Bhavati, how, can this bhakti be there? In other words, how can one gain a stable, even mind? Yeah. Now, Prarabdha, is Prak Arabdha, has begun at the time of birth. Next verse, in the second, Sri Vishnuruvacha, Sri Vishnuruvacha, Prarabdham Bhujyamano hi Gitabhyasaratah sada Samukta Sasukhi Loke Karmana Nopalipyate. Prarabdham Bhujyamano hi Gitabhyasaratah sada Samukta Sasukhi Loke Karmana Nopalipyate. So Mahavishnu's answer is Prarabdham Bhujyamanaha hi. Even as one is going through the challenges of one's prarabdha, may one always be a Gita Bhya Sarataha. The samasa. Gitayaha Abhyase Rataha. See the word Bharata, we know, the one who revels in Bha, knowledge. So here, the one who is committed to the study and to follow the teachings of the Gita is a Gita Bhya Sarataha. Then what about that person? Saha muktaha, saha sukhi, loke karmana na upalipyate. Such a one will enjoy the freedom and will be sukhi, content and peaceful even in this world, and will not be touched by karma, unaffected. So he would enjoy the shantim adhigacchati. Initially, how he will not be affected by karma? Because karma yoga, right principles, no? So when I'm detached from the consequences and anxiety about the phalam, then I can go through it as a prasada. I can offer it to Ishvara Arpanam. And then the jnani, of course, goes beyond the kartritvam and is free from the gunas. So gunatitaha, so karmana na upalipyate. Then Mahavishnu continues, महापापादिपापानि गीताध्यानं करोति चेत् क्वचित् स्पर्शन्न कुर्वन्ति नलिनीदलमम्बुवत्
महापापादिपापानि गीताध्यानं करोति चेत् क्वचित् स्पर्शं न कुर्वन्ति नलिनीदलमम्बुवत्.
So Mahapapadi Papani Gita Dhyanam Karoti Chet Yaha. So the one who dwells upon the Gita, does Gita Dhyanam, all this Mahapapadi Papani, Kvachit, even little bit, Sparsham na Kurvanti, will not touch this person. And this person will be like a what? Nalini Dalam Ambuvat. That is like a lotus leaf in water. We have seen this analogy many times, how the lotus leaf will be unstained by water. So to the waters of the world, that is the worldly nature of samsara, will not touch the one who does this Gita Dhyanam. गीताया पुस्तकं यत्र यत्र पाठः प्रवर्तते तत्र सर्वाणि तीर्थानि प्रयागादीनि तत्र वै.
गीताया पुस्तकं यत्र यत्र पाठः प्रवर्तते तत्र सर्वाणि तीर्थानि प्रयागादीनि तत्र वै.
So now here Bhagavan says, wherever this Gita Pustakam is there, in whichever home it is there, Tatra Sarvani Tirthani Prayag Adini Tatravar. So if not only Gita, we know how our parents and grandparents would have be constantly studying Ramayanam, Sundarakandam, Bhagavatam, Narayanyam, and Gita also. Although there is a myth that if we study Mahabharatam, there will be war and conflict in the house, but that is just a superstition. Why? Because the Mahabharatam is called Jayam. It's a book of Dharma, Panchama Veda. So everything is there in the Mahabharatam, and the Gita is a shining jewel in the Mahabharatam. So this Gita Pustakam Yatra Yatra Pataha Pravartate, where one does the Parayanam of the Gita, one studies the verses, or even just keeps the book in the altar. It is like all the Punya Kshetrams are there. So Bhagavan is saying you need not go anywhere. Rameshwaram, Chardham, Kailas, all of them will be present in that auspicious home where, the Gita Adhyanam is going on, Parayanam, and even when the Gita book itself is honored. Sarve Vedascha Rishayah Yoginah Pannagaschye Gopala Gopika Vapi Naradodhava Parshadaihi.
Sarve Devascha Vedascha.
Devascha. Sarve Devascha Rishayah Yoginah Pannagaschye
Gopala Gopika Vapi
Narada Uddhava Parshadaha. So wherever Gita study is going on, Krishna says all the devatas will be there. All the rishis, the yogis, the celestials, Pannagas, Gopas, Gopikas, Narada Muni, and Uddhava. Remember Uddhava? Devotee in the Bhagavatam, we have done Uddhava Gita. Then Parshadas are other celestials and gods. No? So that is why, wherever we chant shlokas and mantras, in a subtle form, they are received by these Sukshma Devatas. So they also visit those homes where such chantings are going on, chantings and study. And then that home will be blessed, by their subtle presence. And wherever, Gita is in the altar and where the people are praying and reading the Gita, and so when the devatas are present in a subtle form, we may not be able to see the Sthula Shariram, but there our mind will be positively influenced. Then we will get the right decisions, the right answers, and we will find peaceful frame of mind there. We may have noticed, even in our own homes, right? When we do arati, when we do pujas, it feels very, very uplifting. It's a high energy zone. But whereas other areas will not be so charged, like these places. Then Sahayo jayate shighram yatra Gita pravartate yatra Gita vicharascha patanam patanam shrutam
सहायो जायते
शीघ्रं
यत्र गीता प्रवर्तते यत्र गीता विचारश्च पठनं पाठनं श्रुतम्
Sahayah jayate. Sahaya means help. So help will be born or help will be there. Shigram. Very quickly we will get relief. We will get solutions. We will get answers wherever Gita Amba is there. Pravartate. Yatra Gita Vicharaha. So wherever one does Gita Vichara, Pathanam, Patanam, either self-study or sharing the teachings with others, this will be the case. No, help will be there. Tatraham Nishchitam Prithvi Nivasami Sadaivahi.
तत्राहं निश्चितं पृथ्वी निवसामि सदैव हि
And Bhagavan adds that I will be present there, definitely, wherever Gita students live. Where they live, I will also be there. So, one can feel Krishna's presence, presence in the mind, will be guided, just like Parthasarathi is guiding Arjuna, the Ratham. Similarly, who is the Parthasarathi? The higher pure mind in us. Yeah, and that comes by the Satsanga and with the Gita study.
Here Amma, this could be Sambodhana.
Yes, hey Prithvi. 7th shloka. गीताश्रयेऽहं तिष्ठामि गीता मे चोत्तमं गृहम् गीताज्ञानमुपाश्रित्य त्रीन् लोकान् पालयाम्यहम्
गीताश्रयेऽहं तिष्ठामि गीता मे चोत्तमं गृहम् गीताज्ञानमुपाश्रित्य लोकान् पालयाम्यहम्
So Gita Ashraye Aham Tishtami Gita Me Cha Uttamam Griham. So Krishna says, I also take refuge in the Gita.
Rama is saying to Gita.
Bhagavan Narayana Vishnu. Vishnu Uvacha Visanu. So Gita Ashraye Aham Tishtami. So Krishna says, or Bhagavan says, I am also taking refuge in the Gita. And the Gita is Uttamam Graham, is my abode. Just we say worshipping Srimad Bhagavatam is like worshipping Krishna, same thing here. When we worship and honor and study the Gita, we are doing Archana and Puja to Krishna. So Krishna says, Bhagavan says here, Gita is my highest home. Gita Jnanam Upashritya Treen Lokan Palayamyaham. So I uphold the entire Jagat. Treen Lokan Palayami Aham. The cosmic functions, taking refuge in the Gita. Now, in the Gita, Krishna has said that I am taking care of Srishti, Sthiti, Laya, I am the Jagat Karanam. So I am not only there in Puri, Guruvayur and Mathura, Vrindavan, but I am equally present in a home which is blessed by Gita study, Gita Satsanga, Parayanam, and so on. Then verse 8. Gita me parama vidya brahma rupana samshayah ardhamatrakshara nitya svanirvachya padatmika.
गीता मे
परमा विद्या
ब्रह्मरूपान संशयः अर्धमात्राक्षरा नित्या स्वानिर्वाच्य पदात्मिका.
So Gita is what? My Paravidya. We have seen Para Apara in the Gita itself. So Gita is really talking about my higher Swarupa. What is my higher Swarupa? Nirvachya Padam. Indescribable, Aprameya, Nitya Vastu. Nitya Swanirvachya Padatmika. And Brahma Rupa. So, knowledge of my higher nature, that is Nirguna Parabrahma, and that is the essence of the Gita. Then Ardha Matra Akshara. When you take the syllables in the Gita, Gita, that is called Ardha Matra. So, this Ardha Matra Akshara, that is just half a matra. Gita is talking about the Nitya Vastu, my higher Swarupa, Brahma Rupa, or praising Paravidya. That that is the glory of the Gita we are studying. Chidanandena Krishnena Prokta Mukatorjunam Vedatrayi Parananda Tattvartha Jnana Samyuta.
Chidanandena Krishnena Prokta Swambhatorjunam Vedatrayi Parananda Tattvartha Jnana Samyuta.
So by whom was the Gita talked? Chidanandena Krishnena Prokta. Yeah, we see this in the Dhyana Shloka also, Narayanena Swayam. So taught by Ananda Swarupa Krishna, Chidanandena Krishnena Prokta, was taught, very well taught, Prakarshena Ukta, and by himself, Swamukataha, to whom? Arjunam. Yeah. And what is the Gita really? Vedatrayi. You know, Vedatrayi means the essence of all the Vedas. We can take all the 4 Vedas. It is the essence of the Vedas, Sarva Veda Saraha, and it is Parananda, endowed with Tattva Artha Jnanam. Samyuta means endowed with. It is endowed with or filled with Tattva Artha Jnanam. And that is the essence of the whole Veda. In short, the Bhagavad Gita's main message is what? Atmajnanam, knowledge of the supreme reality. And all the other yoga shastras we see, the bhakti and karma yoga and meditation, all these are supporting vidyas. Supporting vidyas which help one to come to that ultimate paramam padam. Okay? Now from the 10th onwards, we are going to see the Phala Shruti very, practically. What if you read the whole Gita or half the Bhagavad Gita or 1/3 or 1/6, So here Bhagavan mentions in this Varaha Purana to encourage and motivate the listeners, motivate the sadhakas, what happens when you do this? योष्टादश जपो नित्यं नरो निश्चलमानसः ज्ञानसिद्धिं स लभते ततो याति परं पदम्
योष्टादश जपो नित्यं
नरो निश्चलमानसः
ज्ञानसिद्धिं स लभते ततो याति परं पदम्
परं पदम् यह अष्टादश जपः नित्यं नरः. So यह नरः, that person who does nitya japam, that is nitya parayanam of all the 18 chapters. Some people actually do this. And some of you also do this, no? Every Ekadashi or Dwadashi. And some people in Rishikesh, they do this every day. And the more we get used to the Parayanam, the faster it gets. Initially, it takes 3 hours, something, 15 minutes. But when we are regular, then it may even take 2 hours. Just 2 hours, steadily you can finish all the 18 chapters. Now, we all do it at least once a year on Gita Jayanti, right? And it is good to do it more often on Paurnami. You can pick up any day. So, what is the merit of chanting all the 18 chapters? Nischala Manasaha. One gains a steady mind. No? All this, we have seen the powerful effect of mantras and shlokas on the Sukshma Shariram. It is like how it will cleanse the Sukshma Shariram. That is meant here, and give concentration. Nischala Manasaha. And what else? Saha Jnana Siddhim Labhate, gains perfection in knowledge. Yeah, so first a steady samatvam, mind will be there. And then through Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasam, dwelling upon the Tattva Jnanartha of the Gita shlokas, Param Padam Yati. Ultimately, moksha goal will be there for such a person. Now, after this, Krishna will start discounting and say, supposing, we are busy, grihasthas or as grihanis, we don't get time to chant all 18 chapters. Doesn't matter. Yatha Shaktihi. What about when you chant 9, then 6 chapters, then 3 chapters? So there will be the corresponding merits are going to be mentioned. And we know adhikasya adhikam phalam. The more you do punya karmas, there will be more punyam. And now the next one, 11th one says, पाठे समर्थः सम्पूर्णे ततोर्धं पाठमाचरेत् तदा गोदानजं पुण्यं लभते नात्र संशयः
पाठे
तः सम्पूर्णे
ततोत्तमं पाठमाचरेत् तदा गोदानजं पुण्यं लभते नात्र संशयः.
न पाठे असमर्थः सम्पूर्णे ततः अर्धं पाठम् आचरेत्. If one is not, capable, asamartha, to chant the whole Gita, all 18 chapters, then ardham patham acharet. May one chant half, which is 9 chapters. Yeah. Then what is the merit of chanting 9 chapters? Tada godanajam punyam labhate. So that is equivalent to the merit of donating a, cow, godanam. And we all know how the cow is, an auspicious symbol of prosperity in the Vedic context. So the one who gifts a cow to a gurukulam or to an ashram, it's considered a very high punya karma. And that punyam we will get, adrishta punyam we will get if we chant 9 chapters of the Gita. And na atra samshayah, there is no doubt about this. त्रिभागं पठमानस्तु गंगा स्नानफलं लभेत् षडंशं जपमानस्तु सोमयागफलं लभेत्
त्रिभागं पठमानस्तु गंगा स्नानफलं लभेत् षडंशं जपमानस्तु सोमयागफलं लभेत्.
Yeah. So we are familiar with the 3 shatkams of the Gita. So Tribhagam Patamanah tu Ganga Snana Phalam Labhe. So if we are able to do just 1/3, that is 1 shatkam or just 6 chapters, what is the phalam? Ganga Snana Phalam Labhe. One would gain the merit, of having a Ganga Snanam. Now we all know how Ganga Snanam has a very high merit, having come from Svargaloka. So everyone wants to have a Ganga Snanam. So all the way you need not go to Rishikesh for Haridwar for Ganga Snanam. If you simply chant even just, 1 shatkam, 6 chapters of the Gita. What about Shadansham Japam, Japamanahatu? 1/3. 1/3 in 1/6, no? Yeah, 1/6, that is 3 chapters. No? 3 chapters if we do Parayanam, then here it is mentioned that one will get the merit of having done a Somayaga. The Vedas describe all these Jyotishtoma Yaga, Somayaga, Nachiketa Yaga. So these yajnas have the merit of giving one a Svargaloka, after this life, of course, yeah? Svargaloka. So that Somayaga Phalam in the form of a Svargaloka will be there for one who chants 1/6 of the Gita, that is just 3 chapters even. And so like that, Krishna is encouraging even the slightest effort that we can put in towards Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyastam, definitely it will have a phalam. And then we will be encouraged and motivated to do more. Now, Krishna, Bhagavan comes down to Eka Adhyayam. एकाध्यायं तु यो नित्यं पठते भक्तिसंयुतः रुद्रलोकमवाप्नोति गणो भूत्वा वसेच्छिरम्.
एकाध्यायं तु यो पठते भक्तिसंयुतः
रुद्रलोकमवाप्नोति गणो भूत्वा वसेच्छिरम्. एक अध्यायं तु यः नित्यं पठते भक्तिसंयुतः, the one endowed with bhakti, and the one who just reads, just say 1 chapter, 1 adhyaya, nityam, consistently, would gain what? Rudralokam phalam, Shivalokam. And there, having gone to Shivalokam, one will be a Shivagana, an attendant of Shiva, and Vaset Chiram. Chiram is for a long time. For a long time, one will stay. So all these lokas that we hear, Chandraloka, Indraloka, and Brahmaloka, and Shivaloka. All these are Pauranika descriptions of some heavenly worlds where one would, one gets a break from this earthly life of samsara, one will be in a subtle form. Subtle form. And being in a subtle form, you would not have a physical body. So there is no death, there is no aging. So one is comparatively free from suffering. But Chiram does not mean permanent. Chiram means a long time. That's all. Then Chine Punye Punarapi Martilokam Vishanti. So again and again the Shastras will say that yes, even in Sanatana Dharma, there is a concept of heavens, but the Vedas say the heavens are temporary. Temporary, and the only permanent state is moksha prapti, and that is jnanameva moksha. Then अध्यायं श्लोकपादं वा नित्यं यः पठते नरः स याति नरतां यावत् मन्वन्तरं वसुन्धरे.
अध्यायं श्लोकपादं वा नित्यं यः पठते नरः स याति नरकां यावत् मन्वन्तरं वसुन्धरे.
So here Bhagavan says Adhyayam Shloka Pada means 1/4. Yeah. So 1/4 of one chapter we can take here. Va, or one chapter, something along that lines. Like, Gita chapters 15 and 12 have 20 shlokas. So if you do 1/4 is just 5. If you even utter 5 verses consistently, yaha patate naraha, such a person sahayati naratam yavat manvantaram he vasundhare. Vasundhare here is Sambodhana. O Bhudevi, the purpose of that Falishruti will be what? One will enjoy the human birth in the entire Manvantara. Now you all know we are in which Manvantara now? Vaivasvata Manvantara. Manvantara means a time duration allotted to a Manu. We have studied the huge astronomical figures of Brahmadev, 1 day of Brahma, then one lifespan of Brahma. So the Brahma's lifespan is divided into 14 Manus, it is said, administrators. Then we are in that 7th Manvantara, which itself is a huge time period. But the one who chants even one chapter of the Gita will always enjoy this auspicious human birth and will not fall into lower embodiments, Papa Yonis or even celestials. Celestials enjoy Punya, Punya Phalam, but again, they cannot strive for, moksha. So only human birth is the moksha dwaram. And so that is the merit of having just even studied one chapter, or you can say 1/4 of a chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. गीताया श्लोकदशकं सप्तपञ्चचतुष्टयं द्वौ त्रीनेकं तदर्धं वा श्लोकानां यः पठेत् नरः.
गीताया श्लोकदशकं सप्तपञ्चचतुष्टयं द्वौ त्रीनेकं तदर्धं वा श्लोकानां यः पठेत् नरः.
Yeah. And we'll connect it with the next one. Chandralokamavapnoti varshanam ayutam dhruvam Gita Pata Samayuktaha Mrito Manushatam Vrajet.
Chandralokamavapnoti varshanam dhruvam Gita Pata Samayuktaha Mrito Manushatam Vrajet.
Now Krishna further comes down and says, what about when you chant, 10 verses, or 7, Sapta, Pancha, 5, or 4, Chatushtayam, or 2, or 3, or Ekam, 1, or half a shloka, Ardham. Manmana bhava madbhakta madhyaji mam namaskuru, half a shloka over. Sarvadharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam raja, half a shloka over. So, yaha naraha patet, the one who chants, just a few shlokas of any chapter. What happens? Chandralokam avapnoti. Chandraloka is often considered as, Pitraloka also they say. The loka of ancestors, departed ancestors, Chandralokam avapnoti. Then Varshanam Ayutam Dhruvam. Ayutam means 10,000, the figure 10,000. Dhruvam is for a long time. For a long time, that is 10,000 years, Varshanam, one would dwell in the Chandraloka. Gita Pata Samayuktaha Mritaha Manushatam Vraje. So the one who is a serious, committed student of Gita, Mritaha, when the Antakala comes, then one will be born again as a human being. And this we have seen in the chapter 8, no? Antakale smarin maran muktva त्यजन्ते कलेवरं तं तमैवैति कौन्तेय सदा तद्भाव भावितः तस्मात् सर्वेषु कालेषु मामनुस्मरयुध्य च. So Krishna tells Arjuna that always keep your mind on me. And here the same phalam is said that one who does the Gita Abhyasa, will definitely attain not just a human birth, but Srimatam Gehe, in a family of yogis, in a family, in a way one will be encouraged to pick up the thread of continuity. So we will get a head start in such a family. And what was left unfinished in the previous birth, so such a yoga bhrashta will continue in the next birth also as a human being. Then 17th, I think, no, we are in? Yeah. Gītābhyāsam punah kritva labhate muktimuktamam gītetyucchāra samyuktaha mriyamāno gatim labhet.
गीताभ्यासं पुनः कृत्वा लभते मुक्तिमुत्तमाम् गीतेत्युच्चारसंयुक्तः
म्रियमाणो
गतिं लभेत्.
Same thought here. Gita Abhyasam, the one who does Gita Dhyanam, Gita Pathanam, will gain the Uttamam Muktim Padam. And the highest Mukti is Moksha Prapti. And Gita iti Uchchara Samyuktaha, so the one who chants or remembers the Gita, Mriyamanaha. Mriyamanaha means while dying. That is, at the last moment also, the one who has the vision of Krishna, the one who remembers the Gita shlokas, Gatim Labhe, would gain this Uttamam Muktim Gatim Labhe, the highest. Now, we have also seen that this is possible only when we are constantly and systematically a student of the Bhagavad Gita. Then only effortlessly and naturally such Gita thoughts and shlokas will come to the mind at the Antakala. Then, Gītārtha Shravana Saktaha Mahapapayutopi va Vaikuntham Samavapnoti Vishnuna Sahamodate.
गीतार्थश्रवणासक्तः महापापयुतोऽपि वा वैकुण्ठं समवाप्नोति विष्णुना सह मोदते.
So the one who has asakti. Asakti means one who is got a attraction, great attraction. For what? Gītārtha Shravana. Gītārtha Shravana Asaktaha. So in the study, the Mananam, Shravanam, Nididhyasam of the Gita shlokas, the one who has asakti, Mahapapa Yutaha Apiva, may be a great sinner, a very indulgent person and may have done lot of papas, but will get Vaikuntham. Vaikuntham Samavapnoti, and what will this person do there? Vishnuna Saha Modate, will rejoice in the satsanga, the company of Mahavishnu. Who is talking? Mahavishnu is talking. Yeah. So we have seen lot of examples, Ratnakara also, how a chance meeting with Narada, and he became a Valmiki, and Ajamila also, Ajamila stories. So all this shows us that, one can always turn over a new leaf and the direction of life will change. Yeah, and the fate also changes even for a Mahapapi. गीतार्थं ध्यायते नित्यं कृत्वा कर्माणि भूरिशः जीवन्मुक्तः स विज्ञेयः देहान्ते परमं पदम्
गीतार्थं ध्यायते नित्यं कृत्वा कर्माणि भूरिशः जीवन्मुक्तः स विज्ञेयः देहान्ते परमं पदम्.
Again, similar meaning. Gitaartam dhyayate nityam kritva. The one who is constantly engaged in Gita Mananam, Gita Shravanam, Gita Dhyanam, and Karmani Bhurishaha Jivan Muktaha Saha Vigniyaha will become a wise person and a Jivan Muktaha. And Dehante Paramam Padam will attain the Paramam Padam means is Videha Muktihi at the end of life and Moksha Prapti after that.
Bhurishaka means
Yeah, Purisha Karmani. One is not affected by karmas. Now we have studied this also in detail that one who is understands the teachings of the Gita will be freed from all the three karmas. The infinite Sanchita karma is burnt by knowledge. Yeah, knowledge of Akarta, Abhokta, Atma. And then the Agami will not be there because there is no Kartritva, no Bhoktritva. Then the Prarabdha, although it continues because it has begun at birth, but still it will be as though burnt. As though burnt means when one is a pure instrument, then it will not affect the mind. So that is the how all the three karmas one is freed from. Bhasmasat kurute yatha. So that knowledge will burn all the three karmas and one will attain the paramam padam dehante. Then 20th. गीतामाश्रित्य बहवः भूभुजो जनकादयः निर्धूतकल्मषा लोके गीतायाताः परं पदम्
गीतामाश्रित्य बहवः भूभुजो जनकादयः
निर्धूतकल्मषा लोके गीतायाताः परं पदम्. So Bahavaha Bhupujaha. Bhupujaha means the gods on earth, like the Maharajas, enlightened kings like Janaka, Ajatashatru, Bharata. They were great kings. They were all Raja Rishis, Although their Prarabdha was to be an administrator, but in their hearts, they were all sannyasis. So they are called Bhupujaha. So many such enlightened kings, they have taken recourse, refuge in Gita. Gita Mashritya, and then they are what? Nirdhuta Kalmashaha. They have purified their minds and hearts and in the loke, discharging their duties. And Gita Yataha, having come to the Gita, Param Padam. They have attained the ultimate freedom from the bondage of karma or moksha praptihi despite activity. So these are all glorious examples of karmanya karmayah pashet, akarmani sakarmayaha. This is the teaching of the Gita. That is, karma is not to be given up, but initially there is phala ichha is given up and later kartritva, bhoktritva, tyaga. Karma continues, no? It has to continue. Maybe there'll be some rearrangement of priorities, some karmas drop, of course, no? But this is the attitude, internal attitude of being a free person. Then the last few shlokas here, 21. One must study the Mahatmyam also, not only the Gita chapters that is mentioned here. Gitaya patanam kritva mahatmyam naiva yah pathet vritha patho bhavet tasya shrama eva hyuddahritah.
गीताया पठनं कृत्वा
Mahatmyam
नैवयं पठेत् वृथा पाठो भवेत् तस्य श्रम एव युधाकृतः.
So Gita yaha patanam kritva. We have all studied the Gita, maybe, but Mahatmyam na eva yaha pathet, one who has not studied the Halishruti. this Mahatmyam, this dialogue between Mahavishnu and Mahalakshmi in the Varaha Purana, Vritha. Vritha is waste. Such study is Vritha Bhave. That Shamaha or that effort, and this is Udahrutaha. Now, we must not take this too literally. Okay. See, most of the time, Panashruti will be a later addition. Yeah. Does Bhagavan expect us to, it will only reward us when we study the Mahatmyam? Not like that, no? So Bhagavan as the Antaryami knows where the effort has been put in, whether one is really doing Shravanam, Mananam, Nidhyasnam. Then Panashruti is something that is mentioned at the end of stotras, just for us to be encouraged and motivated to at least chant a few chapters, few verses, the whole Gita, etc. Okay? So sometimes we will find, there will be exaggerations in the Shastras, and something will be heavily criticized or heavily praised, but we have to put things in the proper perspective. Then the 22nd one, Etanmahatmya samyuktam Gītābhyāsam karoti yaha satatphalam avapnoti durlabham gatimapnuyat etanmahatmya samyuktam.
Tāpyāsam karoti yah satatphalamavāpnoti durlabham gatimāpnuyāt.
So this Mahatmyam, Etat Mahatmyam Samyuktam, Gita Abhyasam Karotiyaha. So the one that is a serious student of Gita, who does not only Gita study, is devoted to Gita study, but also to the Mahatmyam, chants the Mahatmyam also, Saha Tat Phalam Apnoti. Will get what phalam now? Durlabham Gatim Phalam Apnuyat. So Durlabham means very difficult phalam. And what is difficult? We know Shankaracharya has said that, Trayameva etat durlabham. Three rare blessings are Manushya birth, human birth, then the grace of a guru, and finally the desire for moksha. All this is durlabham. So the one who completes, does a complete study of the Gita and the Mahatmyam will get the Durlabham Gatim, means Satgatim will be there. That person will be free from worry, stress, and anxiety, will get Guru Prapti, and Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasana will go on, and at Antakale also there will be Ishvara Smaranam, and then there will be Moksha Prapti also. Now, the last shloka of this version of Mahatmyam. Sūta uvaca Mahatmyametad Gītāyāh Maya proktam sanatanam Gītānte cha patetyastu yaduktam tatphalam labhet.
Sūta uvaca
Mahatmyam
Gītāyāh Maya proktam sanatanam Gītānte ca patetyastu yaduktam tatphalam labhet.
Who is Sūta now? Sūtaha Uvacha. Sūta is the name of a rishi. So the rishi is narrating in the Varaha Purana the samvada between Bhagavan and Dhara, Bhudevi. And here Sūta concludes and says, Mahatmyam etad Gītāyaha maya proktam sanatanam. So this samvada between Bhagavan and Mahalakshmi, this in the form of Mahatmyam, of the Bhagavad Gita, the glory of the Gita, narrated by me, is Sanatana. Sanatana means universal. Yeah? Universal, and such a person, Gitante cha pathet, the one who studies it. When this Mahatmyam is studied at the end of your Gita study, then they will get all the phalams mentioned so far. All the phalam will come to such a one. Now see how this Rishi says that how this, this Bhagavad Gita is a universal universally relevant. Yeah. Although 5,000 years ago it was given to Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, but we know that because the fundamental problem of avidya and shoka and moha is universal. And so the solution is also universally applicable. And here the Bhagavan says that the one who studies the Gita systematically will attain all this phalam, and this is nothing but bringing more and more Ishvara into one's life. Yeah. And so how to be immersed in the Gita study is to do daily or weekly or monthly Parayanam, and then we do mananams like we are doing, then we can even share the teachings with somebody who is open to the teachings, and who would like to hear this. We can write summaries about all this. So this is how the Bhagavad Gita empowers us with all these weapons of detachment, and knowledge, and enables us to face the warlike conflict situations in life, easily with the inner attitude of detachment and samatha. To be like a lotus leaf in the world. Brahmanyadhaya karmani sangam tyaktva. To be like a lotus leaf in the world. Now, in the entire Gita, Krishna has said many times, Mam and Aham, so many times. There must be at least 100 instances in the whole Gita where Krishna says Mam. Now, is Krishna, Mr. Krishna, referring to Mr. Krishna in the Gita? No, it's not Radha Vallabha or Devaki Putraha. Otherwise, instead of Bhagavan Uvacha, we would have Krishna Uvacha. But no, Vyasacharya has put Bhagavan. And Bhagavan is the one who has Bhagaha, the six-fold wealth, Vairagyam, Yashas, Balam, Viryam, Jnanam, all this in absolute measure. So what does Bhagavan mean when he says Aham? Initially, Bhagavan takes the form of Karma Paladata. Karma Paladata connects our efforts with the phala, with the result. And that is what Karma Kanda is all about. And Karma Yoga, we are aware of this. As Karma Paladata, I welcome the results as Prasada, and I am offering my karmic activities as Archana to Ishvara. But then there are places where Krishna has said, Kamosmi Aham, I am in the form of desire, the desire which is sattvic. Then chapter 11 we saw Krishna says, when Arjuna is terrified, Krishna says, Kalosmi, I am Kalaha, Lokakshayakrit, I am the inevitable time, which is going to destroy everything sooner or later. That means what? The prarabdha has to go on, right? But then later in the last Shakam, we find that wherever Krishna has said, Aham Mam, Kshetratnyuham, Kshetratnyam Chapi Mam Vitti Sarvakshetresha Bharata, know me as the Kshetrajnaha, the inner essence in all the Kshetrams. Samam Sarveshu Bhuteshu Tishtantam Parameshwaram. So know me as that Parameshwara, as the Ishvara, who is the Antaryami, who is, that Sakshi Drik in all the hearts. Yeah? And then finally also when Krishna says Sarvadharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Raja. Come to me alone, because Ekam, that Ekam is Ekaha Advitiyaha Atma. So this means that Bhagavan is all pervading. It is the form of the desire and the consequence of the desire. Yeah, so initially we find that we all worship such an Ishvara in the form of an Ishtadevata. Yeah, in a very concrete way, we have Ekarupa Bhakti. And then we begin to see the Krishna Tattvam in time, in the situations I'm going through, in the plants, in other Jiva Jantus, in the lokas, Then finally, even from that Aneka Rupa Bhakti, finally it should culminate in Arupa Advaita Jnana Bhakti. The Jnana Bhakti is what? All that is here is Ishvaraha. And so that is the ultimate Sharanagati. That is the ultimate Bhakti. where there are no demands, total self-acceptance is there. That is, Ishvara is within, without, there's a past, present, future, there's everything. So then there are no doubts and there is no resistance and there is the total freedom. Freedom, and that such a wise person is praised as the one who enjoys Jivan Mukti. You know, even while living, being embodied, one enjoys the freedom and contentment and peace. And when the body drops at the end of Prarabdha, will get Videha Mukti also. That is no more Punarjanma. Okay. Om. We chant the Swasti mantras. स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्तां न्यायेन मार्गेण महीं महिषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथिवी सस्यशालिनी देशोऽयं क्षोभरहितः ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतङ्गमय ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ